Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode.
Yo, peeps. Charlie Jewett here, coming back at you with episode 128. Now, I did episode 124, 3 calculations you must do. What would you have made in the market since 2000? And that was on if you just bought the S&P 500, did not have a money manager, you didn't use anybody from Edward Morgan Lynch, you didn't pay 0.5%, 1%, you just bought an index through Vanguard or Fidelity or somebody cheap like that. What would the market have actually paid if you'd been in it since the year 2000? That's really, really important for you to know, because the market does not pay what it used to. More risk does not, unequivocally does not, nobody can argue this, does not pay more reward than the safer strategies since the year 2000, and that's important for you to understand. I also did episode 126, 3 calculations you must do. What would you have made in your accounts since the year 2000? If you are with a joker broker or managing your money yourself, this is a lot more complicated, but there are some calculators online that can kind of help you figure that out. What's your compound annual growth rate? Remember, average rate of return means nothing. Whatever they show you on your statement is actually just baloney. They're lying to you. They're using the mathematical mean. 2 plus 2 plus 2 divided by 3 years. 6 divided by 3 is 2. They're using that type of math, which does not work for investments, and the industry knows that, yet they use it to deceive you. So you can't look at what your statement says. You need to do your own calculations and see clearly. Everybody's a genius when they see clearly. There's no one cares more about your money than you. You just need to see perfectly clearly what you would have made in your accounts between or since 2000. It's usually less than you would have made in the market, by the way. Money managers do not beat the market. Most money managers, greater than 80, 90% of them, don't beat just buying the index. So it's a completely useless industry. Guys, I'm saying this as somebody who has a Series 65 license. I'm allowed to manage money. I do manage money for people that have money trapped inside of 401ks where you're not allowed to buy annuities or life insurance. It must be at risk. Therefore, to do what's best for people, minimize their fees, minimize their losses, maximize their gains, I do manage money as a Series 65 licensed investment advisor. However, I am telling you from inside the industry, the market does not beat annuities and life insurance, and any joker, any imbecile, any fool who says anything like that, those are the types of people I've been challenging for 2.5 years on this podcast, on Quora.com, on Facebook, everywhere I speak. Those are the types of people I've been challenging to debate me. And to this day, 2.5 years later, not a single soul has been willing to step up and even debate me on my podcast, which it's not Oprah, it's not Ellen, it's not nationwide. They're afraid for the people who even listen to this show to hear that they're complete and total buffoons and that they're lying, because they know it. Guys, 2 plus 2 is always 4. If Hitler says 2 plus 2 is 5, he's right. If Jesus says 2 plus 2, if Hitler says 2 plus 2 is 4, he's right. If Jesus says 2 plus 2 is 5, he's wrong. The speaker means nothing. Whoever says whatever they say, one of the places I'm going to go today, there's some, I'm going to a calculator and they have Ken Fisher on there. When Ken Fisher lies, he's not right. Do you understand? If Ken Fisher tells the truth, he's right. When he lies, he's not right. And even Ken Fisher won't debate me because he knows he's lying. So guys, the most important thing is that you see what's actually going on. So today, here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about, because reverse dollar cost averaging is an issue, what would you have made, or what would happen to your account in the market if you'd been taking income since the year 2000. We talked about what you have made if you didn't use a money manager, what you would have made if you most likely are using a money manager, not getting the dividends of the S&P 500 and underperforming the market. Guys, the numbers are now in. When I did the first 2 episodes, we didn't have the numbers for 2018. Now we have the numbers. So all you have to do, let's just do this together. all you have to do is go put in Kager calculator or S&P 500 Kager calculator. That's C-A-G-R. So S and P, I write the and. I don't do that weird ampersand thing, although it changes it on Google. S and P 500 Kager, C-A-G-R, stands for compound annual growth rate calculator. Hit return. Go to the one from MoneyChimp, moneychimp.com. That's the one I've been using on these podcasts. It's going to have it from like 1871, which is ridiculous. I don't care about the weather or traffic reports from the 1800s. Change it to January 1st, 2000. So all you have to type in is 2000 to December 31st, 2018, and they now have our numbers. You can leave the include dividends checked if you want to. Hit calculate. Number one most important thing. I've been saying this on almost every podcast. This industry lies to you, period. Number one most important thing is the top line where it says average return, and it says 6.41. That is the lie. Although that's what shows up on every retirement planning software you've ever seen, until one of you can find one and prove me wrong, which no advisor's been willing to do, obviously. But every financial planning software I've ever seen uses the average rate of return. They assume that your money is going to be compounding at 6.41, even though everybody in the industry who can do fifth grade math knows that's a lie. Underneath that is the most important number that says annualized return, or true Kager, compound annual growth rate. What are you actually making, by the way, before fees and including dividends? Meaning if you bought the S&P 500, you're getting all the dividends and you don't have your joker broker spreading you around a bunch of small cap, large cap, international, blah, 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 right? So if you have no fees and you're not spread around, you went around your broker, and you bought the index in 2000 for the last 18 years before fees, you're making 4.83%. Now, on purpose, very much on purpose, take out the dividends and hit calculate. So most people who are with some sort of a money manager or kind of doing this themselves, they're not just buying the index. Most people are spread around through a diversified portfolio of blah, 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 because your agent or your advisor needs to hide the fact that they suck at their job and that they're not beating the market. If they were to charge you money and just put you in the index, which beats almost everything, they'd lose their job because you say, why do I need you? I can buy it without you. So they falsely, completely falsely, 80, 90% of them do worse than the market, so they're a completely useless profession. They put you all over the place, spread you around to make it look like they're doing something and to make it confusing. And most of them don't include the dividends, so you're also losing the dividends. So if you do this, you do not include the dividends, moneychimp.com, S&P, Kager calculator, C-A-G-R. You go in there January 1st, 2000 to December 31st, 2018, take off the include dividends, hit calculate. Your annualized return, your true rate of return, how your money's actually growing, 2.85 before fees. 2.85 before fees. Now, if that's not enough, let me go to the internet and look at something. I just put into the internet longest bull market in history or longest bull market, whatever it is. I came up with this thing from thestreet.com. You can do your own research. The longest bull market history and facts for 2018. Let's just scroll down and see what this thing says. Longest bull market in history, August 22nd, 2018, marked the longest bull market in history over the course of 3,453 days. Now, I'm kind of okay at math. With 365 days a year, that's roughly 10 years, right? The market rose from the ashes of the 2008 financial crisis, where indices were sitting at lows, and it rose to record highs in 2018. Well, that's interesting. How good was it? Was it something to pay attention to or not? 9 years, 5 months, 13 days. There you go, baby. That's more specific than my 10 years, right? The NASDAQ was up over 500% in August. The S&P gained over 320%, and the Dow gained 300%. The S&P delivered returns of about 18.4% last year, And in this time frame, from the year 2000 until 2018, when we had the longest bull market in history, 500%, 300%, 320% growth, what did that do for you, my listeners, who are still listening to and trusting the old data from the joker brokers who are lying to you on purpose to line their pockets? What did it do? 2.85% to maybe 4.5% or close to 5% if somehow you didn't listen to these buffoons and you bought the index without them and sold before the crash. And by the way, I'm not sure we've seen the biggest crash that potentially is coming. It looks like we need much more of a correction than we've received. But guys, over and over and over again, you hear me. I've got my microphone on. I'm standing on my platform preaching to you. The market does not pay well. More risk has not equaled more return in almost 2 decades. If you still have money in the market, you're probably a fool. Or, caveat, don't choke on your fettuccine, compliance guys. Hold on. If you don't give a crap, if you don't care if the money in the market, if you lose it, if you lose 38% of it, if you lose 50% of it, leave 60%, if you have money in the market that you truly do not need for income, you don't care about it. It doesn't even matter to you. It's play money. It's Las Vegas, baby. Then you're good to go. In the thousands of people I've talked to, when I ask them, of all this money in the market, would you be okay if you lost 38 to 40% of that? How many do you think say, oh yeah, it's just play money, I'd be fine. I'm rolling in dough, I got so much money, wouldn't even matter. My emotions wouldn't change the slightest, big boy. How many people do you think say that to me? If you said 0, you're right. You know why? Because your joker broker, your so-called financial advisor, your lying captive agent, the friend that was referred to you who's not even allowed to do what's best for you, has been telling you statistics from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yes, from 1970 to 1999, the market averaged over 13.5%. And it was worth it. More risk was worth more reward, or we wouldn't have the saying, folks. But all of us who are honest, good people full of integrity don't stop measuring the market in the year 2000 like some imbecile buffoons. We continue to measure and say, is it still worth it to take risk? And the answer is, unequivocally, nobody will challenge me, nobody will debate me. 100% the math proves no. You should not be in variable annuities. You should not be in the S&P 500. You should not be in the market according to the data. Compliance, don't choke on your fettuccine because I just said something about math that makes you uncomfortable. Don't get your panties all in a bunch. The math says being in the market from 2000 until now would have hurt you compared to being in annuities and life insurance. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying what's going to happen over the next 10 or 20 years, although you could say, while the baby boomers were working, putting all kinds of money away, buying stocks, bonds, and mutual funds through their 401k and IRA, the market went up while they were buying. In the last 18 years, since they've been selling $10,000 a day, retiring, taking money out of the market to buy annuities, taking money out of the market just because they need to have income or pay their required minimum distributions, or just no longer putting money in because they're not working, for heaven's sakes. 10,000 people a day retiring means 10,000 people a day not putting money into 401ks. What a freaking surprise. 10,000 people a day stop buying and start selling, and the market's going to go down. Anybody shocked? Is anybody shocked? Am I the only person in the industry that thinks when what used to be the largest group of human beings that have ever lived stop buying a product and start selling it, at 10,000 people a day that the price of that product is going to change. Especially after the longest bull market in history ever. Never, ever, ever has there ever been a bull market like this. And now the people with most of the money, the people with the largest, biggest retirement accounts, the baby boomers, because of their age group, and there's a whole lot of them, are now living off that money as opposed to saving it. And I can promise you, I'm a very small player in the industry, but I can promise you every week we're moving accounts for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, maybe $1 million. And take that times 1 million financial advisors or whatever, moving people into annuities and the products that have beat the market over the last 18 years. And you don't think the market might go down as this giant group of people sells off their positions in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, or at least stops buying them? Really? Where does basic economics, just basic supply and demand, come into this joker broker BS lie? The market always goes up. It always comes back. Ignore the fact that it takes 6 or 7 years, and the most important thing in compounding your money is time, and you lose 6 or 7 years. But the market always comes back. Just keep buying so I can play golf. Do you guys think it might be time to stand up to the liars? I mean, how long really? How long really do you want to let your variable annuity salesman, your variable universal life insurance agent, your joker broker, your Edward Morgan Lynch guy, really, how long do you want to let them use their relationship, the trust they've built, the presents they send you, the birthday cards, all the crap? How long do you really want to let them deceive you from the truth for basically the last 2 decades, even though we had the longest run-up of all time? The market's only made 3 or 4%. When, like, in 6 seconds, honestly, if you called and got in touch with us, in like 6 seconds, my team could show you other places that doubled that without the risk of loss and with no fees. No fees. Listen, no fees, no chance of loss has beat the crap out of the market for the last 18 years, and there's not a single human being on the planet that will even try to debate me on that. Why is that? Seriously, why is that? If Michael Jordan was in his heyday and LeBron James challenged him to a game of one-on-one, they'd both try. They want to be the best. That's the way experts are. If you're an expert in your field, you compete with each other. We're seeing it in the football playoffs. That's what the playoffs are about, and that's what the Super Bowl is all about. There's not even a person in the country that'll even try to argue for the market. There's just cowards who hide behind their billionaire status and their ability to write for Forbes, who lie every day to people, but won't debate me. But they'll hurt people every single day and make sure that they're getting paid. They've made you an annuity. They get paid every single month, no matter what happens, while you take all the risk and you have no guarantees. They get guaranteed income. You get guaranteed nothing. If you bought an annuity, you get guaranteed income, and they get a one-time paycheck and guaranteed nothing after that. There's only one side of the table, guys, either consumer or advisor, who can have guaranteed income for life. The only question is, since retirement is 100% about income replacement and paying your bills and keeping up with inflation, the only question is, did the advisor in your life give you the guaranteed income by suggesting an annuity, or did they give themselves the guaranteed income by suggesting stocks, bonds, and a mutual fund of diversified portfolio of blah, 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 because over the last 210 years, the market made blah, 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 and let's hide what it's done in the most important time, which is the last 20 years, blah, blah, blah. Did they give themselves? Guys, if you are paying a fee, listen close. I don't mince words. Listen close. If you are paying someone a fee to buy stocks, bonds, and God forbid you're in mutual funds. Are you kidding me? That is grounds for firing your advisor immediately if you're in mutual funds and you have more than $25,000 to $50,000. If you're paying someone a fee to gamble for you in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, and they have not approached you and said, listen, over the last 18 years, the stock market has underperformed annuities and life insurance and the safer tools, and we should probably switch, then your advisor is a criminal. Period. Maybe they're ignorant. They might just be stupid, but they're probably evil. You have to listen to me. If you are in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, while the market underperforms everything safer, even though it has the longest bull market run-up of all time, what else? Do they have to kill your children for you to actually get angry and leave them? What in the world is it going to take for you to leave these crooks? It doesn't matter how many birthday cards they send you, how many cruises you go on, how many presents they give you. They're ripping you off and stealing your money. Leave them. Vote with your money. We can't change this industry until people like you have the courage to tell the joker who was referred to you by a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend and has loved on you and been nice to you and let you into their beautiful office for the last 10, 20 years just so they can rip you off. Guys, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who's delivering the service, who's delivering the numbers, who's delivering the lies, how nice they are, how handsome they are, how well dressed they are. I'm in a sweatshirt and shorts recording this podcast, but I'm right. And there's not a single financial advisor or financial professional in the country that will even dare to challenge me, and I'm in shorts and a sweatshirt. But they'll wear a suit every day and drive their Lexus or their Tesla to work and steal your money. And who's going to stand up for you? I am. That's what I've been doing for 2.5 years. Standing up to the bad guys. Does it make me popular? No. 100% no. I'm the guy in the industry who's hated because I'm the one exposing all of the scams, all the lies, all of the things that they are doing. The market does not pay well. And if someone in your life is saying it does, they deserve to be fired today. Get in touch. Email. Call us and say, I just fired my broker. To get in touch, you can email charlie@jewettwealth.com. That's CHARLIE @JEWETTwealth.com. Or you can call us 888-285-2268, 888-285-2268, or just look up Charlie Jewett on Google. You'll find me all over the place. Say, I just fired my broker, who's my wife. I just fired my broker, who's my brother-in-law. I just fired my broker of 20 years because they're a liar. And I don't care how much I like them. They can still come to Christmas parties. They can still come to funerals, but watch how fast they don't want to be your friend when you're not paying them to be your friend. Guys, it's not prostitution, but it's really close. If you're paying a joker broker to make you feel good, you need to evaluate that relationship. There are none, 0, 100%, not even close, not even possible. There's not even a shred of evidence that paying a fee for a professional is going to get you better results than if you bought the index without them, or even better, if you listen to the rest of my shows and you learn the tools that have outperformed this underperforming market for the last 18 years. And by the way, is it going to change? Are all the baby boomers going to suddenly go back to work? Or is it possible, guys, like paying attention to the weather kind of matters, paying attention to traffic, kind of matters. Just took me 3 hours to get down the mountain from Big Bear, California. Why? Because of the traffic. Could I change it? No. That's just the conditions. I got in line, and went as fast as we could. 3 hours to get down a mountain that should have taken me 48 minutes. The weather conditions of the market are that the baby boomers are not staying at work. They are retiring at $10,000 a day, and they're going to do that for a while. What do you think that's going to do to a market that for the last 18 years, has only paid 2.85 to 4.5%? Guys, the age of the market is over until the market can prove that it's back. Don't have a dollar in the market. I'm not giving you financial advice, so don't choke on your fettuccine, compliance guys. I'm telling you, if you look at the numbers, nobody cares more about your money than you. If you look at the numbers and you look at a market and say, well, what if I risk money to make like 3 or 4? Does that make me intelligent? Everybody's answer, everyone's, should be no. It's not intelligent to risk your hard-earned money to make 3 to 4%. By the way, I'll make the offer again. We can stress test your portfolio and actually ask it questions. Punch in your numbers, just whatever positions you have, your joker broker gave you or you picked, and just ask it questions, which is what you're supposed to do, by the way, before you risk any money. Say, what would happen if we had another 2008? And if it comes back and says you'd lose 30%, 30% of your money would go away. So you have $500,000, comes back and says you lose 150 grand or whatever. And then my team just goes, we don't charge any money. We just help you see clearly. Just go, are you okay with that? Are you okay if the market goes down, you lose 150 grand? You go, no way. And we go, somebody needs to be fired. If you have a professional money manager, they're getting fired. You don't have to do it yourself. We'll do it for you. If you're managing your money, we're going to say, I love you, but you're fired. You shouldn't be managing your money, or just frankly, which is true for most of you, you shouldn't be using risk with a side of fees. Why are you still using stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, which is a completely outdated tool? Why is anybody doing this? Because it's popular? Remember your mom? Yeah, if all your friends jumped off a bridge and told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it too? You don't have to do what everybody's doing. Do what's best for you. Put in like 2, 3, 4 hours of listening to podcasts or talking to my team. Learn, what would you do if the stock market didn't exist? I did a podcast on what would you do if the stock market didn't exist. Just learn that and you'll be fine. Because the stock market's not the only tool in town. It's been a long time since the stock market's done well. It's an unnecessary tool. We don't need it. Can I get any more upset? No. Let me move on. There's a calculator under mycalculators.com. How do you like that for a website? mycalculators.com. When you go there, there's some retirement calculators. I picked the one. You can do whatever you want to. I picked the one that says retirement percentage. Retirement percentage withdrawal calculator. It's an audio podcast, so you can't see this, but if you go to mycalculators.com, you find the retirement calculators. You go to retirement withdrawal percentage calculator. You guys can do this yourself if you want in Excel. How many years until you retire? I put 0 because I want to say what would happen if you've been taking income since 2000. Number of years in retirement, I put 35. What if you're 65 and you want to live to 100? That's fine. Average annual interest rate, I put 2.85. Why? Because most people don't just buy the S&P 500 index and get all the dividends. Most people try to do it themselves, spread their money around, or use some sort of joker broker, and they're not getting the dividends. And my CAGR calculator from MoneyChimp.com says over the last 18 years, the market paid 2.85%. That's what I'm going to use, not what your joker broker liar tells you. I'm going to use what the actual evidence says. So, how many years till you retire? 0. Number of years in retirement, 35, so we can make it to age 100. Average annual interest rate, 2.85. Average inflation, inflation's a problem, a huge problem, but I'm going to ignore it for now. I'm putting in 0 on purpose. How much will you have when you retire? I put in $500,000 because I want to see what happens. How much will you withdraw annually? As a percentage of initial total, I put 4%. 4% of the total is what we're going to withdraw. Why do I say that? Because there's this old rule from William Bengen, 3-4 decades ago, that you can take out 4% of a portfolio and never run out of money, or at least run out of money on the day you die, not be able to pay for long-term care or medical expenses, not leave any inheritance to loved ones. So if you hate everybody, you can listen to William Bengen. Well, people have come back now because of the last 18 years, same stuff I'm teaching, and said, it's not 4%. It's 2.8%. And yet, these joker broker criminals will still tell you can take 4 to 5% out. So I just want to test it. Let's just hold these guys. Who's going to hold them accountable besides me? They won't debate me, but I can still hold them accountable when I have my microphone. I put 4%. So you're starting with $500,000. We're going to take out $20,000 a year while this thing makes 2.85%, which the market has over the last 18 years before the big crash, which I still think is coming. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. So what happens? What happens when we do this? What happens to your account? The entire point, the title of the episode, what would have happened over, since 2000 if you're taking out an income? You can't see this, but you can go run it. If you have a $500,000 balance, making 2.85% per year, and you take $20,000 a year out. By the way, most people don't want to adjust their income down while inflation goes up. So as your account value is going down, most people don't say, I used to live on $20,000. Let me go ahead and lower it to $16,000. Most people don't make the adjustment and take out 4% of their account balance. They take out 4% of what they started with and hope for the best, and hope is not a financial plan. If you were to do that starting in, this says 2019, but I'm assuming it's 2000, and we're using the interest rate from 2000 till now, you go 20 years, right? 2039. Yada, yada, yada. 2039, you're down to $321,000. From $500,000, you went to $321,000. Does anybody need me to do that math? As far as the gigantic percentage of your nest egg you've chewed up and haven't even covered inflation. 20 years later, you're still taking $20,000. Worst case scenario, even worse, you live to age 100, you're down to 128. You have 28% of your money left over. Now, if your goal was to have no increases for inflation, a small income of 4%, not increasing at all, to have the risk of running out of money, to not be able to cover long-term care, and to really leave no inheritance whatsoever to loved ones, that's an okay plan. You can listen to your joker broker and use their disgusting criminal income plan. But why would you? If retirement's always been about income, meaning the only reason you don't spend 100% of your paycheck at Starbucks and Walmart and Tesla and the movies, if the only reason you sacrifice and set aside streams of income every month through your 401k, IRA, or whatever you do, is to accumulate a chunk of money, look at the Streams and Chunks episode, that chunk of money, which we call a nest egg, what's its job? Why do we have a nest egg? What's a chunk of money for? What do you lose when you quit your job? Do you lose your in-case accounts, your income accounts, or your increase accounts? Your in-case accounts, emergency fund. When you quit your job, nobody takes those. Increase accounts, all the money you've had in 401ks, IRAs, and savings, and your home that's increasing in value, nobody takes that when you quit your job. What about your income? When you quit your job, your income goes away. Period. No one can argue this. If they're a billionaire buffoon who lies on Forbes, they still can't argue this and won't even try. Retirement planning is not about rate of return. It's not about the size of your account. It's not about anything except for paycheck replacement. What can you do when your paycheck goes away? How do you replace your income? Save streams of income to build up chunks of income that turn into streams of income. Why would anybody take a risky 4% with no inflation adjustment to then run out of money and not have any way to pay long-term care or leave an inheritance, when the safer strategies pay higher income, some of them pay double income for long-term care, and it's easy peasy piece of cake to cover yourself and leave a death benefit or leave an inheritance to your spouse or loved ones if you want to, as long as you're not addicted to the imbecile, underperforming tools of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. I carry the license. I'm going to say it again. I carry the license, Series 65. I understand stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. I've evaluated them thoroughly, and on your behalf, I am telling you, they suck. Stocks, bonds, and mutual funds were good in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And they stopped being good from 2000 until now. Why are you still buying them? Why are you still buying them? Why do you still hold them? Why are you still paying somebody fees to use these underperforming tools and gamble with things that have not performed well? When you have $500,000 and you retire at age 65, let's say, you should not be taking an income of 4% and crossing your fingers that you don't run out of money before you die. That's a terrible, unprofessional financial plan. No one should live that way. My team and I rescue people every week who are watching CNN and watching the financial markets, crossing their fingers, hoping that they can pay their bills. Hope is not a financial plan. You can purchase a paycheck. The entire point of what I call the retirement plan that never fails, 3 types of money: in-case accounts, income accounts, and increase accounts, is income should be purchased. It's not an investment. Nobody buys a car hoping it'll go up in value between now and 5 years from now. Nobody buys a car as an estate planning tool to leave an inheritance to their kids. Cars are terrible investments. They're horrendous. I know. You guys come to my seminars. You guys that are collectors, I hear you say, nah, I bought a Volkswagen Bug in the 70s. It's worth $17 trillion now, even though if you crash into somebody, you explode. I'm not talking about that. Regular cars. The normal car purchase, where you drive off the lot and it's down $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000. And then it loses value every mile you put on it. All of you buy them. Unless you live in New York. All of you buy them. Why? Because they're great investments? No. Because it gives you a great life. That's why I did my podcast episode, Why Bad Investments Are the Key to a Great Life. You don't buy a car for growth. You buy it for freedom and joy. You don't buy a retirement income for growth. What are we even talking about here? Like some demonic person convinced you that it's about rate of return, that somehow you need to keep your investments in the market earning some sort of fake rate of return in your 60s, 70s, and 80s when you're not working anymore because they lie to you about the history. No. When you're not working anymore and you don't have a paycheck, you don't need rate of return or gambling. You need a paycheck. Buy a paycheck, for heaven's sakes. Is there anybody in the country speaking a clearer message than this? When you lose your paycheck, you replace it with a paycheck, not with risk with a side of fees. Is it a good investment, Charlie? That's not a question that even matters. Nobody asks me, is it a good investment when I buy a car? They just ask, do you like the way it drives? Does it get you from here to there? Buying a paycheck at retirement, your income account, is not about what it's going to be worth when you die. There are other ways to leave an inheritance to loved ones. And by the way, the best way to leave an inheritance to loved ones is probably to not leave them one at all, but to tell them to buy life insurance on you. Why would you let them invest money in a 401k where they're slow funding their 401k with $500 a month for a mystery balance taxed at a mystery tax rate when they retire? How does anybody do retirement planning with a mystery balance and a mixed mystery tax rate. Your 20, 30, 40-year-old kids, you say, oh, if you put $500 a month away, how much are you going to have when you're 62 or 65? They go, I don't know. Depends on market performance. That's why I did the episode on not that kind of depends. Depends might be a huge part of your retirement, but not that kind of depends. You say, oh, so you don't even know how much money you're going to have at retirement? Nah, I don't, because I chose a tool where you can't know. It's a total mystery. It's just gambling. I just gamble. All right. Well, let's pretend you end up with $300,000 or $400,000. When you take it out, what does the IRS keep in taxes, and what do you get? Yeah, I don't know that either. I just decided to gamble with that too. Mystery balance, mystery taxes. That's what I do for my plan. That's not a plan. Why don't you just have them buy $500 a month worth of life insurance on you and your wife? Second to die policy or whatever. If you're single, just on you. What would that do? We traded mystery balance and mystery taxes, which basically means complete and total mystery amount of money, mystery retirement. We traded that for guaranteed amount of money. When somebody buys life insurance on you, your kids or whatever, they know how much they're going to get. Guaranteed no taxes. We know death benefit on life insurance is tax-free, so they get to keep it all. But they just don't know when. Mystery time. Oh, wait. Well, Charlie, how's somebody supposed to retire if they don't know when they're going to get the money? And they don't. Guys, unless you had children when you were 12, think about your age when your kids are 65. You're going to be 85, 87, 90, 93, 95. This is how the rich families do this. They have figured this out. You understand? Every generation that dies can leave the next generation with more money than they had. And it doesn't have to spoil them. It's not like you just give them a bunch of money and go, man, I sure hope they're responsible. You can leave it in family banking systems and blah, blah, blah. We're not even going to talk about this. I'm just telling you. You need to worry about, most of you are A planning families, not B planning families. Go back to the first 3 or 4 episodes I did. If you have the money, if you need income from the money that you have saved, then you need to purchase a paycheck, not worry about inheritance. You can leave whatever's left over behind after you live, cover inflation, cover your medical expenses, your burial, all that. If there's an amount of money you must make sure that your heirs have, you can either buy life insurance or just teach them legacy planning, where they buy life insurance on you and leave themselves an inheritance in basically every single life on the planet that you could ever measure. Their rate of return is better than a 401k or an IRA. And if anybody wants to argue me on that, of course, like for the last 2.5 years, I would be happy to show how little you know and to prove you wrong on air. And if I, for some reason, if I'm arrogant, right? I'm right. That's why I talk like this. But if I'm arrogant and you prove me wrong, I will demonstrate to you what humility looks like, and I have done it before. If I am wrong, I will tell my entire audience, you are right, probably devote an entire show to learning from you, make you one of my mentors, and teach the entire world the truth if you bring something to the table. I don't know why everybody's afraid to debate me. I don't know what's so scary about the truth. For you guys, though, I'm going to show up all the time. I can't say every week because I do these sporadically. That's my life. It's just the way it is for me. But I'm going to keep bringing the truth, giving you guys everything you need to get you to and through retirement. Why? Because I think you people are the best.
Renovating retirement with Charlie Jewett.
But that's all, folks.